Hello, it's Gabby here for you, and I hope this finds you well. I'm starting off this week a little bit saddened by the news that I've just heard that Dr. Michael Mosley has apparently been discovered dead on his holiday in Greece. And Michael Mosley, if you've never heard of him, in the UK is a very, a very prolific author. He was a medically trained doctor, but he was also an investigative journalist who did a lot of studies. He did a lot of studies on himself, and he studied a lot of papers as well. And I've got one of my favourite books here is Dr. Michael Mosley's Just One Thing. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I took from this book. Michael Mosley it became really popular for many reasons, but one of the things that he really wrote a lot of books about was intermittent fasting. And you may have heard my podcast last year, I think maybe about a year ago. I interviewed a wonderful lady called Susan Stewart, who has also written a book called Intermittent Fasting, No Diets Involved. And she's a really inspirational woman who reversed a lot of her own medical conditions just by simple, like it says, no diets involved, but in the power of intermittent fasting. And I'm going to be talking a lot about that because I really believe for all the things that I'm talking about, I'm talking about Dr. Michael Mosley. Obviously, he was a doctor. I'm not a doctor. And what I'm giving you is not medical. It's not a substitute for medical advice. I would give you that caveat. What it is I spend a lot of my time studying what successful qualified people, what qualified doctors are telling us, and what's worked for me and what's worked for people that I know. And so, yeah, is intermittent fasting. I can highly recommend it. I know so many people who have had so many health benefits from it. And Michael Mosley, he wrote the 5-2 diet, which was a huge bestseller, I think. And then he also wrote a series of books about the Fast 800 diet, which I think the 800 refers to on your fasting days, you're allowed 800 calories. I'm not particularly into calorie counting, but I do like the concept of intermittent fasting because it's simple. And as I say, Dr. Michael's book, Just One Thing, has got a lot of really simple little things that you can do every day to improve your health. And that's what I'm all about. I'm not about telling everybody that they should, to forget everything that they're doing and they're doing it all wrong, because I think we all do enough of that to ourselves. We can beat ourselves up for thinking, well, why have I not got the health that I want? Why haven't got the financial situation that I want? Why have I not got the relationships that I want? That does you no good at all. What you can do is take little steps every day. And I think there's another book called The 1%. I think that's what it's called. And if you think about it, you improve whatever it is you're doing, 1%. And over a year, that's over 365% of an improvement. So you don't have to chuck everything you're doing out. You don't have to make yourself wrong. You can just think, right, I'm going to just start incorporating some little steps every day to give me the health and the happiness that I want. So I'll just take you through really Michael Mosley's book. I do refer to it a lot because there's a lot of things that I've learned from it, and they're all backed by science. He quotes the papers. If you can get this book, I would recommend it. The first thing he says, if you're thinking about anything change, and I like this as well, is just one, to keep it simple. Don't be thinking you have to go on some mad diet or some mad exercise regime. Keep it really simple. Make it achievable and attainable, something that fits into your life. If you haven't got 4 hours every day to go to the gym, or 2 hours every day to go meditating, don't make yourself wrong. Think, well, what have I got? And somebody said to me quite recently, I'm this lady, I'm not dissing what she said. I've got huge respect for her. She's got some serious issues herself. She's a carer for her mother. She's got a disabled son. And she said, I just simply cannot exercise. And again, I pointed in the direction of some 7-minute videos that you can do. I said, have you got 7 minutes a day? And she started doing that 7 minutes. And it's amazing that the power that she feels now from giving herself permission to do something for herself, only 7 minutes a day. So keep it simple is a great concept. The second one, Michael says, is be realistic. And I'm all about that as well. Yeah, again, don't beat yourself up for being what you're not. What you can be is the best version of you. And that is realistic. The third thing that Michael put in his book is a really top tip, was create a trigger. So he said, we forget sometimes, or we get so busy, or we get caught up thinking, well, I can't possibly exercise. But one of the triggers he reminded me about was do something that you're doing anyway, like brushing your teeth. So everybody I know brushes their teeth at least twice a day. While you're brushing your teeth, try standing on one leg and just try it. And if you find it difficult, that's great, because by doing that every day for a few days, you will start to see an improvement. Stand on one leg for a few minutes, stand on the other leg, maybe in the evening, and just see if you can do it and improve your posture and improve your strength, your muscle strength, just by simple thing like that, standing on one leg. The other thing he said, creating a trigger. I've got a friend who drinks a lot of tea and coffee throughout the day. And she's saying again, I've got no time to exercise. Well, I said, well, why are you waiting for the kettle to boil? Why don't you just do some squats? Do 5 squats. Everyone can do that. And if you do that several times a day, that's so much more than you were doing before when you were just sitting down all day. Fourth thing Michael says is know your why. Know the reason why you're doing it. Why do you want to improve your health? Why do you want to make the changes that you're doing? If you've got a good enough reason, you will find the motivation. And quite often we get waylaid with life. But if we know there's a reason why we're doing something, it's a lot easier to stay on track. The fifth thing that Michael says is stick with it. And we all do that again. I'm guilty of the past. I've started great health regimes, exercise regimes, all sorts of things. And then I've not stuck with it when the going got tough. But if you just stick with it and then be proud of yourself for sticking with it, you know, you can find that strength if you really stay focused. Then number 6, he said, displace bad habits with good ones. So it may be, I don't know, maybe you like biscuits with your tea every day. And you know, nothing wrong with biscuits occasionally. But if you're eating too many biscuits, too much processed food every day, not the best for you. I'm not telling you anything you don't know already. Okay. So how about replacing those cherry biscuits with some healthy snacks, maybe a handful of nuts, maybe a piece of fruit, maybe, you know, replacing that coffee and biscuits with some healthy soup, whatever. So displace your bad habits with a good one. Don't think about just, oh, I can't have my cake. Think about what you can have. You can have something that you enjoy. Try and do something for yourself. And I say this a lot, something every day that your future self will thank you for. So just a little thing every day. So it's not like, oh, on Saturday, I have to punish myself and go exercising. No, do a little bit of movement every day, and it's something that I enjoy. It's part of my life now. Number 8 is involve a friend or a loved one. Don't think you're on your own doing this and everybody else is just enjoying life and you've just got to punish yourself. Involve a friend or a loved one. Go for walks together, go exercising together, whatever it is. Make that commitment to each other. And I know when we used to go to Zumba classes with a friend, if I'd made a commitment to meet her there, I'd never let her down. But if I was going on my own, sometimes, oh, it's raining, no, it's cold, maybe I'll give it a miss this week. So much easier to stay on track if you've involved somebody else and made a commitment. It's weird that, isn't it? Sometimes we find it easier to make a commitment to someone else than we do to ourselves. That's another thought. Number 9 is Michael says, be kind to yourself. And I bang on about this all the time. And it's one of the things that I've learned so much from studying people like Louise Hay. And so many of us are so hard on ourselves and so critical and so easy to think about all the things we've done wrong without being kind and compassionate. And you really need to start talking to yourself in that little mind. I believe this is what's really helped me. Start talking to yourself like you'd talk to a friend. If you're feeling down, start talking to yourself like you would a sick child. You'd nurture them, you'd love them, you'd encourage them, you'd have some compassion. You won't be critical, you wouldn't be harsh, you won't be pointing out all the mistakes that they've made. But we do that so often to ourselves, don't we? And number 10, Michael says, and I love this because I'm a bit old school. I've got a paper diary here and I like to write things down. And he's going to keep a record, keep a journal. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, although sometimes I love to treat myself to a nice journal or a nice notebook or something like that if I'm starting something new. I'm starting a new pattern of doing something. But keep a record. It can be in your phone. A lot of people keep notes on their phone now or keep a calendar on their phone. But keep a record. And again, if you're making these small changes every day, you might not realise. But after a month or 2 months or 3 months, you might look back and think, oh, goodness, look how far I've come. Look how many times I did that thing that I didn't want to do. Look how many times I went for a walk, even when the weather wasn't great. And so I've whistle-stopped all through some of the concepts really that Michael introduces at the beginning of his wonderful book, Just One Thing. You know, he's written many, many books. But this is one that I really refer to a lot, and I've got so much from it, even though it refers back to the science, and I'm not a scientist. All these things are based on science, but they're so simple to do. But I'm reflecting really on the life of Michael Mosley and what he's achieved, and thinking so much about his wife and his 4 children. But with one thing I would leave you with, and you know this, if you particularly, well, I was going to say if you've had a cancer diagnosis, but anybody who's midlife, you will not have gone through life untouched by something. Life is short. We know that. None of us know what's around the corner. Poor Michael and his wife, they didn't know that when they went on holiday, that how it was going to end. And none of us know what's around the corner. So I'm just saying so much love. And remember, life is short, but this is your time. If you are ready to make some changes, life is short. If you need anything from me, reach out to me, ping me a message. I'd love to hear from you. As always, stay safe and stay sane, and I will speak to you very soon. Thank you so much for listening, my darling. Take care.